Hi, this is Jacqueline here with the Grow Program. Thank you for growing with me. um, my thoughts are with Texas. I'm really thinking on Texas and what's going on down there. Come to find out, it's coming to a lot of corruption that is being shown, in that with the utility companies, price gouging and regulation and different things. And we got some people in office who are not doing right by folks. And but there's some very powerful people in Texas. And what just occurred with the senator leaving and going out of town, that didn't look too good on the donors out of Texas. Got a lot of big political donors in Texas. See, what's being revealed with this party is that a lot of it is being driven by evil. When you look at Ron DeSantis, who has decided that he will lower the flag for Rush Limbaugh, I have no problem with that. But he won't lower the flag for John Lewis. I have a problem with that. When we have prominent leaders who fight for justice and equality for all and righteousness, John Lewis didn't break any laws. John Lewis was a lawmaker. But you decide you won't lower the flag for him, says a pretty bold statement about you. It's so loud and clear that I don't even have to say it here. People, we are in a spiritual warfare. There are people who are driven by evil. There are people who are in your midst, in your presence, at your job, in your family, in what you deal with day after day, who are driven by evil and are meant to try and break you if you will let it. If you will let them break you, it will break you. And you'll be like, why my auntie do me like this? Why my mama do me like this? Why my friend do, it's meant to break you. And it's not them. It really ain't. It's a warfare that we're in, but now some people are so driven that you really can't have anything else to do with them. You have to leave them alone. They're so driven that they will continue to take you there, and not only take you there, but take you there again in a worse way every time you reach out for them. Every time you try to reach out and try to reach for them, they'll continue to take you in a worse and worse spot. That goes for your people who are lost and talented. Those who don't want to get help, those who have decided that I like the status quo. I like being a ship in uncharted waters. I like the way things are. I don't want to make no wave. Leave me alone. And you steady running after them, chasing them and doing this and that. That ain't what the Lord put here for you to do. See, every tub got to sit on its own bottom. We think we can live through folks. We think we can change people. We think we can do this and do that. We need to get us in order first. Get us in order, because I heard somebody say a long time ago, if you want to change something, if you want to change your environment, begin with you. Start with you. Begin with yourself. And boy, that sure makes sense, because once I fix me and stop cutting up and clowning and doing different things and trying to track people and run after folks and worry about what they was doing, where they at, and get me in order, I'm telling you, everything is going to be revealed. It's going to fall in line. You're going to see what really is for you and what really ain't for you. But you got to stop cutting up and clowning and going there in the first place. You got to stop letting them take you there. Because people will. Don't let nobody take control of your buttons. Don't let nobody push your buttons. Those are your buttons. Whose buttons are they? Are they their buttons? Or are they yours? You can't sit up and say, well, yeah, they know just where to take me. They know just what to say. Just what, yep, he used to too, honey. All he had to say was, I ain't giving you no money next week. And when he said that, that sent me out. I would go into a hysterics. Because then I think about the weave that I wanted. I think about the new outfits and all this other stuff, I go into hysterics. But in the end, look, watch this. I still go, stop flying off with him like that when he say that, because I already knew what was going to happen anyway, and it did. He give me the money, because see, when I go all off into hysterics with him and he go there with me, just gasoline on the fire. That's all we doing, building momentum but see, when I throw love and leave him alone and go on do me and get on, I already know what's going to happen in the end. These bills and stuff going to get paid over here, he ain't finna do nothing except what he's supposed to do. And that's what happened. So see, you can't let folks take you there, no matter what. You cannot. It's a spiritual warfare that we in. And I'm telling you, you sit up, next thing you know, they done something real crazy. Just went all out the way to do something crazy. And what you got to do is remove yourself out that situation so you won't have to keep going there with them. You won't have to worry about them taking me there because I ain't even around them no more, to bother them. See, that cuts out restraining orders and all this other stupid foolishness that they, because now people done got the word. They use restraining orders as a means to control you. Yes, I'm a victim of domestic violence, so I know. Don't even jump down my throat about that. I know. But he used to do that stupid mess too. Talking about I'm going to go get a restraining order on me. I ain't even done nothing. I ain't even doing anything, but you always threaten, when it's time to go run out with a woman, if you do something, I'm going to go get a restraining order, that's what he would, manipulation. That's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of control he would do, and when this growth program get to where it is, honey, this is going to end. That's going to stop. They going people, you got women and you got men, because he did it to me. You got women and men who will run to the court for a restraining order and tell the judge a whole bunch of lies. Just try to throw that person in jail, try to get that person out the house, all different kind of things that they trying to do out for evil. I got to call it and tell it like it is because it happened to me. I hadn't done nothing to him. For him to try to use the courts as a means of manipulation, and there are people who do that. So that's getting ready. There's a whole lot of stuff getting ready to change. See, evil is very upset about, here I am. I done risen from the dust and I'm getting ready to get some things in order, and I'm going to tell you something. I don't mean to pick on these rappers, Lil Wayne and stuff. I'm telling Lil Wayne, you dodged the bullet because he did, with Donald Trump. I've been in federal prison, so I know, where he was headed, but his was worse than mine. See, I went to, got sent off to one of them camps, and, but the camp was, you can't, it wasn't fenced in or nothing like that. We ain't have no guards and dogs and different things like that. You can run off if you want to, but, they gonna find you. This the government. Where you gonna go? So they ain't have us locked down like that, like in the dormitory, but his would have been way different and he'd have been gone for a long time. That's why we got to take the time. We got to take the time to sit back and evaluate our life before we go there. We don't want to go there. See, that's why I'm on the podcast, to keep you from going where I went. I don't want nobody to go there because it was a horrible experience. I almost lost my life in there, hemorrhaging and bleeding, and they didn't believe me, and I underwent something that the slaves underwent because they tried to perform a DNC on me in the doctor's office with no anesthesia, and she was actually proceeding. She was doing it until I started screaming, and so I understand exactly what the slaves went through with them doctors, with the doctor out of New York, who was practicing on the slave women so he can know what to do with the other women. Don't get the slaves any medicine, any pain medicine, because he said that the slaves can tolerate the pain. They can take it. They don't need no pain medicine. But didn't give it to the slaves, but gave it up to the other people. But I'm gonna tell you something, God gave us a great mind to overcome, and we are still overcome. That's why they were singing, we shall overcome. They'll stop and look up to the skies for a second and look and see how those clouds look like cotton. Then their fingers be pricked because they wasn't paying attention to what they picking, and prick their fingers, and the fingers start bleeding, get blood on the cotton. Then they start getting beat for getting blood on the cotton. I'm telling you, I know, I relive this. I relive it, every day. I grow 24/7. I grow. I'm telling you, I don't stop to go and sit and watch Deadly Women for an hour. Or go watch 2020 for the night. I don't watch no news. I don't watch anything. I grow so I can get the wisdom to get and tell you, the word and where we come from and where we going, where we headed, what we trying to make it to. We trying to get to destination greatness. And we need to all get on board. We need to get it all on this movement because they said with the assassination of Dr. King, his pipe dream is what they said. His pipe dream of a beloved community for his people was over with. It's done. You should read whoever wrote the article wrote it out of hatefulness. Hate, it just was, the article just filled with hate. His beloved dream with the assassination and the incoming of Richard Nixon, his beloved dream of a beloved community, his pipe dream and just, hateful, just the way it was said, saying it'll never happen. And it's over with. That the civil rights movement, all but this is disbanded and broken apart. They tore it up, is what they said. No, they didn't. I put it back together. I done sat here and in a haunted house and pieced it all back together. It is back together, and we are back together. We are back on a mission of love, a campaign of love and nonviolence, just like Dr. King said. He said, we shall overcome. Honey, we overcoming. The song done changed. See, you say overcame. One day we're going to overcome. We are overcoming. We are overcome. We are rising. We are rising above the oppression on this country put on our ancestors who first set soil on this land, who first set soil on all around the world because slaves were taken everywhere. They were shipped off here, there, and everywhere. That's why when you meet somebody, you got to ask them who you know to make sure they don't know who you know. And then once that's fine, then you can proceed on with the conversation. So we are shipped off everywhere. That's why I don't tell these rappers, you ain't just from the East Coast and the West Coast. Your blood is everywhere. They took your ancestor, mother, baby, and snatched the baby. Say, here, take the baby. You have this one. Sell that one. Get that one. Do this and do that. So you can't sit there and hold up the W finger. I do that too, and hold up the E finger. I can hold up both of them because see, I'm from all over. I'm from everywhere. My blood is African, and African blood is just from everywhere. We all everywhere, and we all are legends in our own right. We all are. But we got to live out to be a legacy. We got to rise and lead an example. Not leave foolishness and stupidness for these kids to look at, and the cycle of violence just keep on going and perpetuating. It's just steady going. When does it end? Now it's getting ready to end now with me. They gonna get it together. I'm telling you, these rappers gonna get it together, honey. They don't want to go where I went. They don't want to go in there. Cause see, it's way different for them. It's worse. It's way different. Camp Cupcake really ain't Camp Cupcake really no more. It really ain't used to be. There's a whole lot of stuff they changing about Camp Cupcake, honey. Camp Cupcake ain't just as sweet and nice and a nice place as it was even when I was there, years ago. Even when I was there, it ain't honey. It ain't what you want. It really ain't. That's why you won't stop with this baby daddy foolishness, babysitting stuff. You won't stop with all that. You won't stop with all this whatever you doing now. Don't keep on doing it. Don't keep on doing it and think one day it ain't gonna get caught up and the I's and the T's ain't gonna be dotted and crossed. And they gonna connect the dots. Cause one day, 2 + 2 really is gonna add up to be 4. And they gonna see what's really going on. So, sweetheart, and my brothers and sisters, everybody, you need to change your ways. You need to come up out of that because they got setups and traps all around the corner waiting on us. Any little thing. Here we go. We already going down anyway, but let us slip up, make up some kind of mistake or some kind of mess. Honey, you ain't finna go on vacation like that woman did. You ain't finna go do no sweet 2 months like did. And hurry up and get out of there back to her big beautiful house in the mansion. You ain't finna do none of that. It's different for you. It's changed. I lost everything, but I got it all back. The Lord said I'm gonna get it back and twice more, and I have. But my point is to keep you from going there. I don't want you in there, Lil Wayne. I don't want none of my people in there. Nobody. I don't want to see none of them going down for the oppression in this country. Overtaken by evil. No, it's not gonna happen. Our love and power and strength in numbers is what's gonna pull us through this oppression. Greatness reached over oppression through wisdom all over the world. I love you.